We are live.
Sweet. Here we go.
Sweet. Welcome, everyone. Whoa, already 28 people in this. Look at this following.
Yeah, man, I see all sorts of familiar names. This is excellent.
Jesus. Okay. These a lot
What a
of.
nice setup you got going on here, man.
Thank you. No, yours is. I like how our themes match. This is really nice.
All right, the nice purple. It just flows.
It
So
just
wonderfully
flows.
in. It's fabulous.
I know. We should we make like a cohesive team.
Yeah, well, you and I would be just expert interior decorators together.
I know, right? Our rooms would match. It'd be pretty awesome.
Therapy doesn't work out for us, dude. We'll do interior decorating. We'll do office decorating for therapists.
Exactly. Maybe, yeah, just for virtual therapy, just the background. The rest of the room is fine. Maybe you have.
That's right. It can be whatever you want. We'll design the. That's even better. Design the virtual background. There we go.
Yeah. But welcome everyone. I'm actually curious to see what do you think of the audio right now. I wanted to ask everyone in the audience what you thought of the audio. You can hear me. Can you hear Dr. Mick or Ryan, aka Ryan?
I hope so. It's so nice to see so many of you fabulous folks that pop in and watch me on Twitch, hanging out and giving Kevin some love.
Yeah, I appreciate all the love. Sounds great. Ryan is a little bit low. All right, I'll turn him up a little bit so you could hear him. Let's see. Ryan is a bit quiet. Ryan.
I can talk also. I can keep talking so that people actually know what I sound like. You can let me know if it's better.
We'll see.
Just a little. Audio's the worst, man. Whenever like doing the streaming stuff, legit audio sucks.
He breaks out just a little bit here and there.
Really, it's gotta be the damn Discord thing, man. It's just I turned off literally all the sound optimization stuff that Discord does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Latency, I think we're pretty set. Yeah.
I turned off one other thing that might help. It was doing a thing where when you talk, it clips me out too. So
yeah.
I wonder if that maybe you'll fix it. But
volume's
good now, though. There we go.
Okay.
I can also get closer to my mic. I can turn the microphone up a little bit too, if that would be helpful. We'll see.
He's clipping at the end. Might turn up your gain.
Clipping at the end. I don't know. My other than me turning off my noise gate, which you definitely don't want me to do. I don't know that.
Say try talking into your mic and get closer.
But I talk like this. How's this? Is this nice?
No,
we still clip.
It's clipping. That's clipping hard.
Okay. So, no. So it's all right. You probably need me to turn my microphone down a little bit then if it's clipping super hard. Oh, I don't know. How is this? Is this better?
Keep going.
It seems like it sounded fine in the. We only had the issues with this at the very end of the sound check.
Yeah. What the heck?
I don't know, man. I don't know what it's. I can't hear it. Oh, it is. Okay, yeah. It's definitely changing. I just heard it. I was having this issue when I did the Omen collaboration. I was having this issue. Now it's making me wonder if it's an issue on my end, as opposed to. Because people are like, "Oh, Dr. Mick's skipping in and out."
Yeah.
And I don't know why I would be doing that, but I don't know. How about this?
No.
Turn off all that fun stuff. I mean, I literally have every optimization thing that you can possibly have in Discord turned off.
Okay. You think it'd be my end?
Is it way worse now?
It's gotten way worse.
Oh, I made it worse. Okay.
Oh wait, now it's. Go ahead.
Okay. Like turned off this whole like hardware accelerating nonsense. Is it still bad?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still going.
All right, so if I turn this on now, a little bit better.
Keep going.
A little bit better. How about this?
Nah, it's still clipping.
Still clipping? Damn, dude. I have no idea.
Let's see.
It has to be Discord.
You think so?
I gotta think so. I mean, I don't know what else it would be. I don't have this, like, because I'm using the same setup that I use when I stream. I don't have an issue with it when I stream, but I also don't talk into Discord when I do it.
That's true.
I haven't had other people say whether there was sample rate causes issues too. Maybe it's too high to broadcast. I mean, I don't know how to turn that down in. I don't know how to turn that down in Discord.
Try a different Discord channel, perhaps. Different.
Just in a private chat.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I like troubleshooting on this on the fly. It's pretty nice.
You gotta love it. Gotta love the start of it. I mean, it's interesting that Discord's not picking up my voice when I put in the input sensitivity to normal. I wonder if that's part of the issue too. Yeah, man.
You wanna go leave Discord real quick and come back in?
Yeah.
Try it out.
All right. Be right back.
Be right back.
Thanks for bearing with the chat.
Yeah, chat. Thanks. I appreciate you all bearing with us. But yeah, a little bit about me. So my name is Kevin Yu. I am also a marriage and family therapist, living out in LA right now. And I was fortunate enough to have Dr. Mick join me today to talk a little bit about our lives outside of therapy. What do we like to do? How do we manage our mental health? How do we help manage our physical health? Talk a little bit about our personal finances, as well as our personal relationships. And yeah, me and Dr. Mick actually met at Northwestern. He was my professor at the time, so it's kind of cool being a colleague now. He's coming back.
Okay. How about now?
Still clipping.
God damn. I was able to turn on the actual input sensitivity thing so that it picks me up properly.
But you hear me all right?
I hear you fine.
Okay.
I hear you fine. The thing I can do is get a little bit closer to the mic if that helps. I don't know if it's still doing it right now, but I really don't know what to do beyond.
No, it's I think it's gotten worse compared to our first go around.
It's so weird that it gets worse when it gets louder. I don't understand that. Way worse.
What else can we do? Yeah, I'm trying to think. What else can we do?
The only other thing I could do is I could swap computers, and I could try to talk to you through my other one, and it'll have a different view, but more messy. I can try that.
Let's think. Trying to think if maybe it has to do something with my me broadcasting your sound, maybe.
Be different server locations, connections getting weird. I mean, does it do it? So if I turn my video off, is it still clipping really bad?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Got to love it. Oh man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna literally turn my noise gate off then. See if this does it.
You said you're turning your noise gate off?
Yeah, I'm literally turning my noise gate off.
Oh, I usually have that off.
Because there's now static. I don't know if you can hear that static or not.
No, I don't hear it.
Am I clipping?
Keep going for a little bit.
So if I keep talking
Yeah, it's still clipping.
Oi. how about when I do this? Does this do it?
Yeah, it's still
That's a
clipping.
Discord issue then.
You think it's Discord?
Yep, it's 100% Discord. I mean, literally everything I know how to do to prevent that from happening.
Okay, so if it's a Discord issue, where do we just move to Zoom?
We can do Zoom. Yep. Just set up to be able to talk to you through Zoom if you want to do that.
Yeah, let's try that.
Right.
Let's try that. Bear with us, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate restart the Discord app. That could have been actually the crispy decision. I know, Matt, it's technology, man. I think this is my second time with sound issues. All right. Let's see. We take a look. A lovely. Gotta wait for.
All right, let's try one more thing. Somebody help me turn my bitrate down. That might have been.
It's still clipping.
Still doing it? All
They're
right.
saying, how about we let me try to exit out of Discord, and maybe it's something on my end.
All right.
Let's see. Quit Discord. Open Discord. Start. Fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, man. Just hoping I can keep talking for it. It doesn't clip.
It's clipping. Okay. Do you have I don't know my Zoom stuff real off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Do you want to send one?
yeah,
You want to send me one on Discord chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Discord does like to soft close, so soft closing, reopening, it doesn't really fully exit it. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because we actually did a 30-minute sound check before we actually started the stream just to make sure this wouldn't happen, and now it's happening. So that's always fun. But I hope everyone is enjoying their Thursday afternoon. I appreciate y'all kind of joining us during this. I know you could have been out doing work, walking outside, or wherever you're all located, but really appreciate y'all joining us this afternoon. But I was curious if, yeah, so does my clip at all, or you saying, does my have static or any issues on my end, or I could turn my volume up or low? Almost 3 a.m. Holy cow. Appreciate you staying up 3 a.m. Yeah, thank you. All right, Ryan is sending me the Discord link. Or not Discord link, the Zoom link. Hello? Hold on, I don't hear you. Hold on, it's probably on my end to see. Say something? Hello? Hello? Oh man, it's still clipping. Yeah. Join with computer audio? No way. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, they said they don't hear you anymore. Hold on. That's on my end. That's routing for me. Chat. Say something again?
Yeah. So if I can talk, and I keep, it's still, oh my goodness. Still not clipping, or still,
Still clipping on my end.
I the only thing I can let me on Discord from my computer. If that works, then we'll go with that.
Okay. Okay. So while Ryan's getting that going, trying to think. Doing this on the fly. Yeah, so Ryan is, yeah, I guess I'll say hi. There's so many of you. I'm trying to learn everyone's names. Yeah, I know. I think Ryan's, his stream usually works perfectly as well. I see that. How did you get started with contacting Ryan for this? Oh, okay. So, yeah, so I was saying that Ryan was actually my professor when I was in grad school at Northwestern to study to be a marriage and family therapist. So I did a big career change from finance and, let's say, working in tech. Oh, wait, Ryan's back.
Is it better if I talk like this? Are we good? Is it?
It's still clipping. Oh, this room is nice. Holy crap.
Yeah, dude, I can't. It's,
This is interior design. I'm just doing like one corner. I don't want you to show the rest of the room, but this is, wow, look at that.
yeah, got a lot of rearranging to do. It was yesterday.
It's way worse.
Jeez. I really don't know. I'm so confused.
Let me see if I could change anything else. Say something again?
Yeah.
Keep going?
I'm here talking about things. I'm running into a go there. And I am trying to check my properties to make the thing. I think somebody's saying that it might be that I'm running into a dual channel.
What's up? You think it could be the recording the audio? I think that's like a new variable, but now I can't hear you at all. Is Ryan using Bluetooth headphones? Could it be that? Da 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 da.
All right. If I use my microphone.
No, then it's not the mic. So then it's something else.
So it's not even working.
It's still clipping, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm gonna stop recording audio on my end. Maybe that's it. Keep going. Say something.
this.
No.
And still been like talking full sentences.
No, it's like every other word now. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
I don't know what's happening. We were fine at the beginning when we were starting.
Yeah, we were doing very well. Like the best. Like still like the best thing that we can possibly do, but
I don't know.
internet connection or audio drivers. I don't know if it's, you think it's internet? I think both of our internets are pretty solid because we were,
I'm on fire, man.
yeah, we were talking before, and then maybe it could be streaming. Yeah, time for charades. Let's do some, what is this? Family systems work? What is it? The one that we just do structural therapy, just moving each other around and.
Oh yeah. Move. Yeah, if it's every other word, that's gonna be really annoying. I mean, it's not even like my thing. I'm trying to think of what to do with this, man.
Check audio drivers. Turning it off and on might work. Can we just blame YouTube? Could be YouTube. Could be YouTube's fault.
You sound totally fine. That's what's crazy about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I noticed too. Is like it didn't start until we hopped online. So I don't know if it's.
Maybe my only other thought would be that OBS on your computer because I'm doing the stream. Come through.
No, I couldn't. I can't make it.
People.
I can't make any of it out. I can't make any of it out. Oh man. It didn't start until we said Ryan was too quiet. Poor Ryan. Yeah, poor Ryan. I'm sorry. I am sorry. We have to probably go back to start all over again. I'd give Ryan a hug too. I would give Ryan a hug. Can he somehow use Twitch for it since that always works for him? I don't know. Jared, you're right. YouTube can heck off. I agree with that statement. I'm trying to think of it. Did I miss anything? How long have you been a therapist? I have been a therapist now. So I graduated in 2019. So almost coming up to my 2-year mark. Hopefully I was going to try. Yeah, so I'm living in LA right now in California. And the licensing for California is a pain. A big pain. So I'm trying to figure out. Well, all my family is in the Chicagoland area, so I was trying to get licensed first in Illinois as a marriage and family therapist, and then hopefully continue building my hours while I'm licensed, and then transfer that over to California and get licensed in both states. Um, what made you swap to therapy? Yeah, I think that is a um, good question. I think for me, I was really kind of stuck in the dumps. Not really liking what I was doing. So I was doing sales for two tech companies. Um, and first one I got laid off, second one I got fired, and then I tried to go to be a boot camp in the Bay Area for a software engineer position, and I did that for 2 weeks. Tried to learn Ruby on Rails, got destroyed. Literally coded myself into depression because just there's no personal connection, no talking to anyone, and it just wasn't for me. Like I have software engineer friends and they love it and I love talking to them about it, but for me as a primary career, it was too difficult. Yeah, it was very difficult. Um, and then what I did was, so I sat there, kind of reflected after taking some time off, figured like, what's the next move? Like, I needed money, so I was like, okay, do I need to go find another job in tech again, or do I go back to school? And I gave friends this questionnaire. It was actually called Insight 360. I actually wrote a blog post on it. I think I also made a YouTube video on it. But essentially, it was given to me by I think it was a life or health coach, and they were given to their clients, and they're asked four questions that you give to your friends and close people in your life. And so like people take like strengths finders test or Myers-Briggs or all these different types of like individual like assessments to figure out like what you want to do with your career, what might you be good at. And Insight 360 takes a different approach. It asks the community and the environment that kind of shaped you to see what they think you would be good at. So everyone kind of answered these questionnaires and had some good heart to hearts. And at the end, there was just like, oh yeah, I think you're pretty approachable. You're kind of happy. You enjoy talking to people about their relationships. Enjoy people talking to people and getting to know them at an intimate level quickly. And no one really said outright therapist, but I reached out to my therapist at the time, who was also in Chicago, and we had a conversation. And she was telling me, her name is Robin. Robin was like, "Yeah, Kevin, I think you'd be a great therapist." And I was like, "Really? Okay." Wait, Ryan messaged me. Sorry about the interruption. Bring large smartphone, OBS Ninja. What is this? Hello? Ryan? Ryan? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you anymore. Hold on, let me see if I need a change. Stuff does call on trees. I can't hear you yet. I don't know how do you switch audio levels on the web browsers. Do you know how to do that? Oh my lord. So I see you fine. Kevin, are you using OBS to stream? If so, check your audio inputs and outputs for your levels. Yeah, I'm in the yellow, so I'm at -10 decibels. I'm not going anything higher than that. But now I can't hear Ryan, and I gotta see to figure out how to change his output because it's on a web browser, and there's no function. It just has picture-in-picture full screen, and then there's a mute button. What is this? Bring video from your smartphone, computer, or friendly directly into OBS, 100% free. Let's see, sound mixer, settings. Ryan, say something? Ryan, say something? Oh, I hear you now. It's clipping though. It's still clipping. Oh my god. What's the other? What do we do in the beginning? Like, I'm trying to think, like, working our way back. Like, how do we get back to, like, or even the first piece? Source OBS, copy the link in that browser to the scene. Copy the link and add. It has to be on Ryan's side. Do you stream on YouTube as well? Ooh, Steph, do you stream on YouTube as well? Let's see. Might sync up audio rates. That looks like the last ditch, in my opinion, because it could pork up something on your end. Nope, but I'm similar to audio, which is usually the same program for streaming for both Twitch and YouTube. As your mic is crackling, did you check the levels on your side, Ryan? Either way, that or YouTube Live is strangling upload some way. Did the clipping start the moment you started streaming? I might be completely wrong, just throwing ideas, but maybe your software is trying to output the sound to two different things at once. It could be that. True, if you're using OBS, it could be that. Software development, like any profession, has to be right for you. I'm lucky that what I'm doing for my career. Oh yeah, I software engineers, I need more. They're amazing. Am I casting it to another thing? Lucky duck. Grab some water. This issue is so bizarre, I haven't seen it before. Yeah, this one is this one is throwing me off as well. Just message Dr. Mick in Discord seeing if he has a noise gate on, as that's the only thing I could think of. Yeah, we thought it was the gate as well, but it seems like he turned it off. I think it really started, yeah, when we were trying to figure out the audio levels at the beginning of it, and ever since then the clipping started. I forgot where I left on my story. Okay, let's see. Ryan's calling again. Hello, hello.
Man, it's working.
It's not working. It's not working. Then I'm thinking it might just be YouTube. Either that, YouTube, or maybe my connection. Let's see. But I love the support. So much support in the chat, sticking through us just to hear us kind of mutter around and and yes. What's up? Here, you want to call on let me call you on FaceTime on my laptop and then try to troubleshoot this. Yo.
One other thing you can try is an OBS is if your audio is coming in. Do you have it set for 48? I sent you a message on it on Discord.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure 48. Let's see. Audio. Yeah, it's 48.
Okay. Yeah. I really don't know.
They're like, honestly, if this all fails, this sounds all right.
I'm legitimately stumped. What I could do is, I could call you and then you could have the FaceTime audio come through and you have me on your video chat.
That's hilarious.
It works. We can do it.
Let's test it out. Let's see what
all right. I'll take my headset off. We'll just do it this way.
What was the other thing that we were thinking? You were saying like go to OBS and what? The browser? Like copy and paste?
Steph helped me out with that Ninja thing. I don't know how it works though, well enough. You're supposed to add it as a browser source in OBS, and then it supposedly will pull it. But I don't know if it's going to have a delay or whatnot. If this is working, we can just go with this because we could spend another hour trying to figure this out. Yeah. So I'm going to call you on video and mute my audio on Discord, and then I'll just talk to you this way.
This is the most amazing thing I think I've seen.
This is how we do it, man. You just do it like this.
Troubleshooting on the fly.
Yeah, that's how we do it. And if everybody can hear me and it's fine, then we go with this. Whatever, man. I don't care if it works. It works.
This is
I'll
amazing.
take my headset off. People can see my ears for this.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is great. All right, I'm just changing your size real quick.
Yeah, if chat can hear me fine, then good enough.
Okay. The sync is perfect. This is totally doable. Oh my God, 300 IQ. Thank the Lord.
There we go, man. We got it.
Let me see if I can just move it a little bit closer. Yeah, because I don't really need anything besides.
Everybody's amazing for hanging in there through
that. So amazing.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'll put you on top of my computer. Okay. So I don't even know where we were. Doing intros?
We were literally like, hi, how you doing? Good to see you. That's basically where we were there.
Kevin is still a little crackly. I'm crackly?
Hey, we'll take crackly over skit. Okay. Now, is there a way to kill my... Oh, no, we'll just... I was going to say, is there a way for me to kill my video on FaceTime so that I'm not eating up a whole bunch of phone resources because my phone's not super high on battery right now. Why don't we, I'm going to call you just via normal phone because I can see you on this, so.
Okay. But you want to do FaceTime audio instead, though?
Oh, yeah, that's fine, too.
Okay. Yeah.
Just call me on that.
Okay. Dr. Mick has ears. All right. There we go.
This is how you do it, man. This is how you troubleshoot this stuff.
We got to do this again next time, figuring out everything, but
Yeah, man. I have no idea. I'm gonna end up having to do a lot of troubleshooting on this in order to get it figured out. But we'll see. Because I don't know if it's a me issue or what.
It's it might be me too since they're hearing crackling. Are you streaming tonight?
Yeah.
You are? Okay, so then if it is, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with you streaming.
It was fine last night. I've literally not touched anything since last night, so I have no idea, man.
I don't...
Because I monitor my voice in my headset.
Yeah.
It doesn't skip or doesn't have any issues. So it's somewhere when it's getting sent over,
something's clipping, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. But whatever. We're here. So yeah, I got up to talking to them a little bit, or talking a little bit about how we know each other. The young professor, coming through and laying down all these knowledgeable treats for everyone.
Do what I can.
Do what you can. All the young girls chasing too.
I don't know anything about that.
That's what I knew as the student side. They're like, oh my god, so cute. Like, this is amazing. Could I get some extra credit?
Oh man, see, we've never had that conversation.
We never had that conversation.
Now I know. I've never. You're gonna make me blush, man.
Yeah.
I did get when I was at UNLV. I did get a chili pepper. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but now I know what that meant.
On Rate My Professor.
Yeah, it was like Coofers or something, or Rate My Professor. I don't know. I got good reviews, but then somebody put there was a chili pepper, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that like my course content is good? Does that mean like my class is hot? So they're like, no, you idiot. It means somebody thinks you're attractive. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So not only hitting them with the physical looks, tugging on those heartstrings too when we're getting into the emotional work.
That's right.
Also, you got everyone beat by age from like what, 30 years?
Oh God!
What was the age?
I don't even know how many years. I was by far the youngest person, for sure.
Yeah. For
sure. I'm pulling up chat, by the way, so that I can see chat while we're talking.
Okay.
I'm sure they're having a blast with all this. I told Chad in my announcement on Discord that this was going to be a chance for people to get a little bit of a behind-the-scenes view of me, because you and I are just going to be chatting and shooting the shit, and I tend to be rather reserved when I stream, so people get to hear a little bit more about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. But for Chad to know, I wanted to say, like, I was thinking about this the other day, dude. I still remember when you and I talked on the phone prior to you being a student at Northwestern.
Yes.
I was actually living in Vegas at the time. So that was the last time I was living here. And I remember sitting in my living room and I got a call from you and we talked on the phone about the program. Yeah. And so I've known Kevin for, oh my God, that would have been what, 2017?
2017, summertime-ish, or no, almost winter, almost like wherever the application period was, so fall.
Yeah, so maybe 2016-ish. So like we've known each other for like 5 years now.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
We've known each other for quite some time now. Like, I mean, you were the prospective student, and then you and I got to know each other obviously while you were in the program. And I was like an instructor, and then after you graduated, you and I had stayed in touch and stuff. And I always enjoyed. We'd have good conversations walking from the therapy offices to the train and shit like that. So yeah, man.
Yeah,
we've known each other for quite a while.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think even in the beginning, like, so someone asked, like, how did I switch from like working in tech and finance into therapy? It was such a long shot. Like, I didn't really think about it, but I took really the resources and the knowledge to like do some outreach to figure out if it was the right program or not. And then I talked to you, and I think you were one of the bigger sellers on the program compared to like the other programs in the area. And then I think that youthfulness helped a lot too, of like being able to relate to other classmates, and then finally just applied to one school, and that was it. And then staying in the program, I think I connected with you the most because we have a lot of similarities. Both played basketball on the same intramural team. Softball, football.
Went to the championship. Dude, you're just gonna gloss over the fact that we won the championship.
We did.
The old grad students and faculty members won the championship in intramural basketball at Northwestern.
That is true. That is true. I think there was a record for a very long time that it didn't happen or something like that. I forget how many years, but yeah, everyone was so hyped.
2009 was the last time that our team had won it. So
Yeah,
damn it.
that's. I still have the
Good
shirt.
stuff.
I still have the shirt.
I
Yeah,
do too. I wear it on stream sometimes. Yeah.
it is funny that we're thinking about it is like we're beating up on what 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're like a bunch of old folks.
Who was
Grad
the
students and faculty beating up on them. It was great.
Yeah, no mercy. But yes, so what we're saying, yeah, so there is a big history. Five years, and now we are adults, or at least I feel more adult now than after graduating. So yeah,
Absolutely.
um,
You learned a lot since when we first. I mean, I was still a former student at that point. I wasn't when you and I first started talking. I wasn't even on faculty yet at Northwestern. Like I was just a former student that was like the go-to person to sell the program to people. And so my name was given to you. You called me, and we went from there. We went through the whole
thing together.
We both gone through a lot of transitions since then, man.
That is true. And then so yeah, Ryan now lives in Las Vegas. He moved from Chicago earlier last year.
In September last year. So we've been here actually. March 2nd was our 6-month anniversary of living out here already.
Okay, and it's just him and Allie, his wife. How long have you two been together?
Allie, we've been together for June 1st will be 7 years. We've been married for a year and a half, but we've been together for almost 7 years.
Okay.
We met while I was in the program at Northwestern. So she was a first year when I was a second year, and we actually met by playing intramural softball together.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So
we started dating actually the summer after I graduated, or like right before I graduated, because she still gives me shit because she wasn't invited to my graduation. Yeah, we started dating that summer, and then we did long distance for a year, and then lived together for a year, and then did long distance again for a year, and then broke up for a summer, and then got back together, and then have been together ever since.
okay. How has that transition been, like, moving out? The two of you, like, COVID's going on, like, what has that transition been like?
Well, it was sort of interesting that Allie and I have known for a while that we eventually, especially, so when I left Northwestern, when I resigned from Northwestern and I went into private practice, we talked at that time about where do we really want to end up, because at that point I was doing contract work for another practice.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't own our own at that point, and I hate cold weather, and
Me
Chicago
too.
sucks as it relates to cold weather. So we kind of got to talking about possibly moving to Vegas at some point, but it was just like a pipe dream. It was like, you know what, maybe at some point we'll move there, maybe we'll retire there, I don't know. When the pandemic hit and the moratorium or whatever on student loan repayments went away, or like went into effect, we just started chalking money away. So all the money that we would have spent on paying off our student loans, we were throwing into an account, and we were like, you know what, we can make this work. Like, we could go to Vegas now and get stuff set up. So the pandemic sucks. I hated the pandemic. It's been awful, but it did open a door for us to be able to get out here and actually start our practice. And honestly, the transition's been fine. Like, it feels like I never lived in Chicago at this point. Like, we have really settled in out here. We have a routine out here. We love it. Our practice is doing pretty well. We're still trying to get it like off the ground with getting panel insurance and stuff, but it's been a good transition. I sit on my ass all day. I stay inside. I don't go out and do things. I'm fine just playing video games. So for me, COVID has not been a big deal because I can just stay home and play video games. I don't have to go out. It's been a little bit harder on her because she likes to go out and hike and go to restaurants and stuff, and obviously we haven't really been able to do the restaurant part of it. And my ass is out of shape, so the hiking's a little hard for me. But no, it's been great. I have loved moving out here. It's been good for the stream. It's just been good overall for my mental health.
Yeah.
So
what is the what does like Monday through Friday look like? Like what time are you waking up? Kind of hearing like your routine. Um,
Oh boy. Let's see. I generally. Oh my God. Okay, so Mondays on general week Mondays, I usually wake up somewhere around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I will catch up on work and emails. I then see clients from 1 o'clock until 6 o'clock. So I usually have 5 clients on Mondays. I then usually cook dinner after I'm done seeing clients, and then Allie and I hang out, and like a bunch of old folks, we watch Jeopardy and Weakest Link and shit like that for a couple hours. Then usually Allie will put on like one of her shows or a movie. Depending on how I'm feeling, I will usually fall asleep while she's doing that for like an hour, half hour to an hour. I wake up usually around like 8:30, hang out with her for another like half hour or so. Then I go get ready to stream around 9, get everything set up. I go live at 9:30, and then I usually stream until like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then after I'm done streaming, I usually decompress for like an hour or so, sometimes a little bit more. Usually that means like chilling on the couch and just kind of like watching TV or browsing Reddit or something, and just kind of like being more in my own space ahead, because I kind of have to like, I can't just go from streaming to bed. It just doesn't work. And then I usually go to bed somewhere around 3 or 4, and then I'll wake up again around 9:30. And then Tuesdays I actually see clients from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then I stream again. Wednesday I am technically off from seeing clients, but that's a day where I do a lot of administrative work. I do some stream work with my buddy Sean, and I do some planning for the stream and all that stuff. And then sometimes I'll stream during the day if I can. My wife and I, Wednesday night is like date night for us, so we usually have like dinner and just like really hang out with each other. And then I'll stream on Wednesday nights. Thursdays I'll usually do a reasonable hour stream in the afternoon. So like you and I are talking right now, this is a time where normally I would be streaming. And then I will make dinner. We'll hang out. I'll hang out with Allie for a while, and then sometimes I'll pop back on at night to stream unless I have an early client on Friday. Friday I see clients from 9 a.m. until 4 or 5 p.m. And then Saturday, Sundays I'm off, so I'm just streaming in the evenings. So that's my week.
Jeez. Okay. So what's your caseload right now?
I see anywhere from 15 to 20 people a week right now.
15 to 20. Okay. 15 to 20, and then hours on. What about hours for streaming?
Oh God, I probably stream at least 20 hours a week, probably more. No, that sounds about right. Somewhere around 20 hours a week or so I spend streaming. So, I mean, I would say between seeing clients, doing paperwork for clients, doing administrative stuff for the practice, because I do all of the billing, I do all of the credentialing, like I do all the claim submissions, I do everything for our practice administrator. So I'd say with all the actual work I'm doing over the course of the week, I'm probably working somewhere around 50 hours a week.
Okay. Manageable?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I mean, I don't technically. I see the days that I'm seeing clients as my work days.
Yeah.
And so I technically work 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Which is not, but I block my clients off really significantly during those days. So like those days I am like really expending a lot of energy, which I don't mind because I like having Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sundays off. I mean, off. I'm doing stream stuff and everything during those times as well. But no, I'd say it's completely manageable for me to do that. I am happier now than I have ever been in my entire life work-wise.
Nice.
I mean, when I was at Northwestern, I was working 60, sometimes 70 hours a week. I was like, and I was streaming on top of that.
Yeah.
Like that was insane. I would never. You couldn't pay me if you said, Ryan, I'll pay you triple what you make right now to go and do that again. I would say no, absolutely not. It's not worth what it was like for me in my mental health to do that. So for me, I'm happier now than I've ever been. I don't really feel like I work. I get to see clients from home. I get to stream. I've been having to juggle a lot of collaborations and stuff recently. So there's those things and going, podcast interviews, collaborations like this, trying to get coordinated with different things. I get, events, that get offered for me to be a part of. So, yeah. And I see somebody asking, do you find it difficult to remember all your clients' history? No. I don't know. I'd be interested, like, if you have this experience too, because I know you see clients too. Like,
Yeah.
It's really easy to keep things straight. Like, I am fully present and invested when I'm seeing my clients.
Yeah.
So, like, and I see them weekly or bi-weekly. So I remember. I mean, luckily I have a good memory. I've been blessed with that my whole life. But, like, I remember things that are important that I need to remember. I remember client birthdays. I remember the anniversaries. I actually had somebody recently who we celebrated 3 years of working together. And it was like we actually got to see each other on the 3-year anniversary, which was kind of cool.
Oh.
But I remember that stuff pretty easily. Like, I will sit before a session, because I get 10 minutes before every session, and I will think, okay, what did we talk about in the last session? I'll check my notes if I have to.
Yeah.
But, like, is there anything I need to follow up on? You know, I get into the mode. I spend that 10 minutes really getting into the mode to talk to the person or people I'm about to talk to.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you asked, like, thank you for asking. I'm the exact opposite. Like, my memory is so well. One, I went to neurological testing to figure out what is going on with memory. So I actually have a poor working memory. So yeah, things recalling something like we just talked about, or it's more short-term memory things. So yeah, I've had to do a test. Like, I have to study a lot more intensely and really pay attention to what someone's saying. Sometimes I might even have a conversation twice. The most tragic incident was the first time I told my friend, one of our friends died, and, like, going through kind of like the grieving period or whatever, maybe like 2 years later, I found out again, and I didn't remember that person actually dying. So I told my friend again, and he's like, dude, you're the one that told me the first time. And we were laughing about it because it was like a joke, but it wasn't. Like, I went through that grieving process again, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know, early onset something.
Is this recent?
This was, I think, my memory issues probably started even maybe in high school.
Wow.
But I don't know if it's something that you can tell, but something I've been dealing with for.
If you never told me, I would have never known.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have never known.
So yes, like, even with my roommate, like, we'll talk about things, and like, dude, we talked about this like 3 times, and I was like, yeah, I had no idea. But yes, with going back with the clients, my thing is I have the notes. Like, I need to look at them before we have. So that 10 minutes, I'll look at, like, our plan and our treatment detail, and then I'll carry on from there. But once I read that couple lines, then everything comes back.
Do you tell your clients that like memory is a thing for you, and that you may, like, ask a question that you've asked before, and that for them to, like, not take that personally?
It hasn't happened in session. Yeah, it hasn't really happened in session. Mostly when there's frequent conversation with, like, friends or family. But I think, I see them just once a week, so it's never become a thing. I do check in, though, be like, oh, I don't know if we work on this skill, or that's something I'll ask. Like, oh, have we done this yet? And then they'll say yes or no, but no one's been nothing's come up for that around that. So
yeah, that makes sense. I'm always it's always such an interesting thing when we try to figure out what are the things about us that we share or don't share with clients. Because, like, if it's not something that affects the work, then there's really not any reason to share it with somebody. But I was just curious if that's something that, like, where you find yourself like, oh, do I need to, like, like, oh shit, I don't know. Like, if I ever say something and you're like, dude, you asked me that last session, just like, just tell me that, we'll be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's a memory thing. I don't know. It's fascinating to me. I don't think that's, again, if it's not something that affects you, it's not something you have to disclose. But I just, that's such an art, trying to figure out what you say and what you don't say, because you don't want to make it about you. You want to make it about them. Yeah,
exactly. And the tricky is, like, when they do ask to, like, want to learn more about me or talk to me about, like, what would you do in this situation? I was like, how much should I go? How much should I say? And then kind of just thinking about where, like, do they really want to know, or is it kind of like setting it up for something that they would also want to talk about?
Yeah.
But do you keep physical files each client's? Everything's digital for me. I don't know if you keep.
Yeah, mine are all digital too. They're technically treated the same as physical files are, but they're a lot easier to manage
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all online. It's in a. So I think a lot of people don't know this. Like, I don't know what platform you use. I use Therapy Appointment.
We use Google Drive.
Use Google Drive. So, and for those who might have just heard like Google Drive actually has a HIPAA compliant like
business.
Version.
Yeah.
Which we have for our practice that we use for like our emails and stuff. But I use actually an electronic health record system because it submits claims and stuff for me as well. And it kind of it keeps everything loaded in there, and it's all encrypted. It's all HIPAA compliant. And when we take notes, mine does this thing. So you write the notes, it auto completes everything else, and then when I sign the note, it locks it and then auto submits a claim to the insurance company that the person has. And then there's a third party that handles that claim in batch. That gets sent to the insurance company. Insurance company confirms it, sends it back through the third party, and then I go into the third party system, and then I enter the claim status data into our EHR so that it shows whether it's been paid out or not, and how much it got paid out, and what co-pays out, and all that shit. So.
And then EHR, I believe, stands for Electronic Health Record.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that seems. I like that there is a program. Like, we're still using a PDF, and I made it so that it was like a smart PDF because people they've just been handwriting it and then uploading it to their like they'll scan it or take a picture of it. But I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this for every single note. So yeah, I just made a smart PDF and then just would type it. I still have to type it on my Mac and then upload it. For some reason, it doesn't really recognize on Windows. It won't save, which is annoying. But yeah, the insurance claims is really rare unless someone, because we don't accept insurance, so unless they're doing like an out of network super bill or an insurance claim, then I'll do that on their behalf. That's just submitting an invoice and then printing it out and actually mailing it to Blue Cross Blue Shield of California or whatever insurance provider they have.
Yeah, it's doing claim submissions and stuff is a royal pain in the ass. To anybody who's watching this, if you have a therapist that accepts your insurance, just know that like it's a pain in the ass on their part, and that like we love what we do enough that we're willing to put up with that shit so that we can see you, because it can be a real nightmare, especially out of network submissions. Like every insurance company does it different. It is just, we get held hostage in so many ways by insurance companies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
That's why having a good EHR is good for you. Want to talk self-care? Having an EHR that streamlines everything has made my life so much easier.
Hopefully, once I get licensed, open private practice, I would definitely want to use whatever record keeping system you're doing.
Yeah, man, I could walk you through it. I've had to become an expert on it, because anytime we hire somebody, I have to walk them through it.
Yeah.
I do all the troubleshooting for us and stuff. But it's really easy to use. It's really intuitive, and it's affordable. It does not break the bank, which is really nice. Because there are some that are like outrageously expensive, and this one's not bad. And then you have to pay a percentage to the vendors for when you charge credit cards and stuff. I don't know if you guys deal with that too, but it's really not bad. It's easy enough to get set up.
Yeah, maybe the owner of the practice does, but for me as an associate, we just take square payments. And
yeah, that's the benefit of being an associate, is you don't have to do any of that. I don't have to do any of it, right? Like, that's what you pay your percentage for, is for somebody else to mess with that.
But I would gladly do it if I got more back in my percentage.
I'm sure. And you know what? For some people, for some therapists, that's awesome. For a lot of therapists, they just don't want to mess with it. They don't want to do it. And that's why they pay a percentage to have somebody do it for them. And I don't blame them, because it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Have you heard of any percentages? Okay, so for most associates, they're about like 50-50 split with a supervisor, or also a 60-40 or 70-30 split. I heard a lot of those, even like talking to classmates. That's what I've been hearing. Once you're licensed, what split do you usually hear?
Well, I mean, I can tell you that, so we have, the way that we do it is we have pre-licensed, and then we have post-licensure scaling of percentage. So depending on how many, I had to calculate how much it costs me to have an associate.
Yeah.
So that we're not losing money on having people work for us. And so we have it actually on a graduated scale. So that scale goes anywhere from 50 to 65% for unlicensed, and then it goes anywhere from 60 to 75 for licensed. And then, but that's depending on how many clients you're seeing. We cap our people at 25. So like you're not allowed to see more than 25. And then at that point, we'll sort of work with people if they're wanting to like earn more, if they're having, whatever, like we'll work with their percentage in order to make it be something that is viable and livable for them, but also something that doesn't cost us again. Because in Nevada, for example, it costs me, for every associate we have every year, I have to pay $300 to renew them being part of our business. And then there's like all sorts of other costs, like costs of marketing, costs of what it's like to have them on the platforms, costs of supervision, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. So I think if anybody's licensed and they're making 50%, you're getting jobbed. There's no reason why, unless you're only seeing like 6 clients a week or something like that. But if you're seeing anything above 15 clients a week, your percentage, in my opinion, should be at least 60%, if not a little bit higher. I mean, I'm not even unwilling to think about like we're constantly thinking about this, right? Like it's all a numbers thing. It's not personal. It's not like I'm not trying to make a shitload of money off of the people that work for us. Like that's not the point. I mean, the point is to make a little bit of money because it's a business, right? And like I'm doing a lot of admin, so it's nice to have some extra income that comes in from having people work for us. But I mean, really, what we're more about is trying to get as many people into the practice as possible to work with and stuff. And I want the people that work for us in particular to feel like they're having a meaningful experience working for us. So there are some real pirate offers out there for practices where therapists get screwed hard by people, and I just don't. It baffles me that that's the case. So a lot of therapists don't know how to do business.
That's it's tough. It is cool though to seeing a lot more people, a lot more therapists have like a social media presence, online presence, and try to break through the other side, or like kind of like the new wave of people doing therapy. That's
when you're at the point where you convert over and you start doing your own thing, I think you're gonna be great. Like you've done a lot of like business venturing and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. So I have no doubt you're going to try to figure out the most cutting edge way to run a practice. I'm excited to learn what you come up with, because you are, and for those that don't know Kevin very well, like Kevin's an ideas guy. Like my man is always thinking about how to keep stuff on the cutting edge. Always. You can always count on you to be thinking of how to optimize something, man.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's something I was going to ask you too, is like you see the new wave. I think it's been nice to kind of have that like pulse on the Bay Area, since there are churning out so many mental health startups. And even a friend of mine, or it's kind of funny, is like my ex-girlfriend's best friend's boyfriend reached out and was telling me that he works at a private equity firm. And he was saying like, oh, we're actually using part of our percentage of our fund to invest in new startup companies in the mental health space. So just seeing that, that does make me worry a little bit about the private practice side. Is a lot more things like BetterHelp and all these different type of programs can really weed us out. Because essentially what they're doing is just a national level private practice, and us, like you and mom and pop shop, or the practice I'm in now, is very limited if we just did brick and mortar. But since everything is opening up now and we're doing more, having an online presence and doing remote therapy, it's just a big scramble of budget. And since they have a bigger budget for advertising, I can see it being very difficult in the future rounds.
I sort of agree and disagree. I think it can be a good thing in the sense that, like, if those types of companies have the resources to lobby for something like national licensure, so that they're able to get, associates that are working for their national brand or whatever, I'm freaking down for that, man. Like I am all about trying to get licensure to get out of being state by state and getting more to be national. There's really no reason for it. Like the fact that if I were to, if I were to go stand on the state line of Nevada and California,
Yeah.
and there's one person on the Nevada side and there's one person on the California side, and they're looking at each other, and they both are like, hey, we want therapy. I can do therapy with the person on the Nevada side of the street, but if I go on the other side of the street and I do therapy with this other person who has the exact same issue, I could get in huge trouble.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and so it makes it so that states where people don't really have a lot of therapists available, like the Dakotas or like Idaho or Montana or something like that, you don't have access to therapists. So I do think in some ways that these types of these places will do well in those areas where people desperately need help but don't have anything available to them, because I certainly don't want to move to North Dakota.
Yeah.
I can't, I can't see people in North Dakota. So I think it could be a good thing. I don't know that I worry about it being like the Walmart to my mom and pop shop, because I think there's always going to be a need for therapists, and that people are still going to be looking for vibes more so than they're going to be looking for brand.
Yeah.
I think people reach out to me not because I work at Starline Therapy, but because they like my profile. People don't really give a shit where you work. They care about whether you're going to be a good fit for them.
Yeah.
And so if a company like that gives more people access to the people they want to see, I'm down. And if they want to fight insurance companies, I'm down for that too, because I don't have the resources to do that.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's I agree with that as well. And it's also interesting to see that I don't know if they're fighting on the national level. I think they're just kind of making just recruiting. Their recruiting is unreal, and that's it's tough. Is like trying to hire people because they're just selling this really idea of like, you work from home, we'll just start feeding you clients, and you don't really have to do anything about it.
I get those emails all the time.
Yeah.
BetterHelp reached out to me like 5 times.
Yeah.
They're
relentless.
I mean, they really do. They hawk it, and as many times as I've said, no, I don't need. I mean, I don't think right now, as a person who has an established practice, I don't find that service to be useful to me at all.
Yeah.
The way that they have, I'm not just talking about BetterHelp either. I'm talking about like any of these services at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That those have not really evolved to a point where they're particularly useful for a person who has an established practice and reputation and referral sources.
Mm.
It works really good for somebody coming out of grad school. Like I can see it very much being a bridge where you build your clientele, and then you're paying a percentage to them, but they're covering a lot of the admin in the same way a private practice does.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, I do think there are people that want to have a sense of community in the practice they work for, and working for something like that is not going to have the same kind of vibes that it has working for a practice with a bunch of people that you engage with on the daily and really build relationships with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they don't. Most of them don't even take associates. Actually, you have to be licensed for even you to get hired there.
It's hard to be an associate right now. It's really hard to be somebody who's coming out of grad school to find a job and find a good job with a practice that's not going to kill you and take all your money. Yeah. And it just really bothers me the way that stuff is structured around that with associates right now. I get why we make people go an extra amount of time to get their hours toward licensure. Like I understand why we do that, but at the same time, that person's work is really no different than a person who's licensed, other than the fact that they could go into private practice if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. Like associates can bill insurance, associates can do all these things. Like they are therapists, but because they're not licensed, they just can't go out on their own, and they get screwed for that. And that's the part of it that drives me crazy from a business perspective.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's too slow. I think COVID did highlight a lot of issues. Like clients, you're working with California, but they're moving back home, wherever state that they're in. Dating, long distance relationships, like if one person's not living, it's just been an issue. But I do have to run to the restroom real quick, and I don't know if you need to go at all.
I'm gonna cover your. There's a cool question
yes.
in the chat. I'll cover that while you're doing it.
All right, thanks.
So I'm gonna assume that there are sometimes when a case of a client hits home emotionally. How do you guys handle the situations after the sessions as well as at that time? So you learn to do that as a therapist. You learn to when you get hit by something emotionally when you're in session, you learn how to hold that at bay so that you can be as present as possible for your clients in the moment. And sometimes that means you might check out a little bit, but you do your best to stay as present as you can. And then when the session's over, we have things like consultation groups and supervision and, friends. Like I might call up Kevin and say, hey man, I had a really tough session. I was wondering if I could just kind of chat with you about it real quick. We don't disclose client information in those talks. What we do is we'll talk about what happened in session without any identifying information and talk about the impact it had on us. But that's part of it. I mean, I worked on the National Suicide Prevention Hotline for 3 years when I was an undergrad, and I learned how to make that separation in my head as well, that what's happening for one person, that's their pain. Even though I may empathize with it because I had something similar happen, their experience of that thing could be totally different. So I try to move myself as much as possible into being present with that. An associate is somebody, Nishant, who does not have a license yet. Doctorate doesn't really matter. So I have a PhD. Kevin does not. Kevin is just as capable of doing therapy, diagnosing all these things as I am. My PhD was more so that I could go teach and be a professor and stuff, which now I no longer am. But an associate is going to be somebody who doesn't own the practice, they work for the practice. So it's like a W-2 employee, like if you were to work at Starbucks, for example, where we pay a person either a salary or we pay them an hourly rate or we pay them a percentage out of it. And so there's a difference between associates for practices and then associate licensed people. An associate licensed person is somebody who gets a pre-license in the state that they're in. But an associate in the business sense is just somebody who works for us. And as far as Jared, he's not an associate. He's just pre-licensed in Virginia. So
Pre-licensed.
Perfect timing, man. I was able to knock those questions out while you were gone.
Oh, nice. What were the questions? Someone's associate.
Also, what happens if you have a session? I'm curious your answer to this. Like when you have a session where a client says something that hits really close to home, how you manage that and what you do with it in the moment and afterwards.
Oh, wow. I think in the moment, I'm trying to think of an example that's okay. So yeah, I think anytime right now it has to deal with relationships or breakups or anything like that. That's something that's always hits me of oh man, maybe I could have done that, or oh maybe that would have been cool if I had tried this at that time, or let's give it another go. But then yeah, I do catch myself doing that and take a couple of breaths and then trying to understand that transference is happening and then just going back to being present and listening and actively listening and instead of being in my own head. And then after, if there's a client right after, sometimes it does linger. Sometimes it does stay. And when I am talking to that specific clients, I don't know about daydreaming, but thinking a little bit about what happened before. And same thing.
You sort of drift sometimes.
Yeah, drift away. And then same thing, kind of like that breathing, take a couple, maybe 3 deep breaths and then go back into the active listening. But if there's no one after, then yeah, I'll usually have an ending ritual of playing some music and laying on the floor or something like that. But no, that's a great question. Yeah, it happens often too. I don't think it's maybe.
No, it's part of it. We're humans. I mean,
yeah.
You cannot be affected by the things that people say to you. So,
yeah.
And it doesn't always have to even be something that hits close to home. I mean, sometimes people will disclose something that's really tough, or you'll witness something that's really tough, and you just, from an empathic standpoint, you're like, oh my god. But it's cool to hear you answer that because you basically said the same thing I did, which is that you just try to reconnect with the present as much as you can.
Yeah.
And you stay present with who you're working with, and you don't make your drifting and your aloofness your client's problem, because it's not about us, it's about them.
What have you been doing to kind of I'm trying to think of that word, compartmentalize?
Compartmentalize?
Yes, after sessions.
So I kind of have to give some of the background on this. I mean, I mentioned this a little bit, but I worked on the National Suicide Prevention Hotline for 3 years when I was in my undergrad, and this is really where I learned to do this. Is we have to see as therapists what we're doing in context of the week. So I am only with clients for 50 minutes a week. I am not in any way, shape, or form responsible for the lives of my clients. I am responsible for showing up for that 50 minutes, bringing my time, my expertise, my presence, the treatment plan, all the things that a client pays for. When that client is no longer in front of me, that client sort of goes out of my mind until I have a point where I can think about them again. So like if I have another session coming, that client goes away, I focus on the next one. And I don't overestimate the amount of responsibility I have for the well-being of my clients. I can only give them the tools. They have to live the other hours of their week without me. So I learned in the suicide hotline, it was the same thing. I am not responsible for whether this person chooses to end their life.
Yeah.
I am only responsible for being here and using my training to talk to this person and empathize with them and problem solve in the ways that I can while I'm on the phone with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that a lot of people really struggle with when they first come into therapy programs, because they do see their clients as an extension of their competence. They see their clients' successes as being a reflection of whether they're a good therapist. There are good therapists that have clients that don't enact the things that they help them enact. And there are bad therapists that have clients that end up getting better even though they're seeing a not so great therapist. It's not, our clients' progress is in some ways a reflection of the work we do. I like to think I'm a good therapist because I've watched people have success in their lives and people keep coming back. But also, I don't tie my self-worth to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that that's an important distinction that you make on a meta level, because then it helps you keep that compartmentalization. When I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm not thinking about streaming. I'm not thinking about my marriage. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight. I'm not thinking about when I'm going to see my parents again. I'm not thinking about COVID. I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. I am fully invested in what my client is talking to me about in that moment. And then when I end for the day and I go to make dinner, I'm fully invested in making dinner. When I'm hanging out with my wife, I'm fully invested in hanging out with my wife. And that's a trait I've kind of had my entire life. Whatever I'm into, I'm all in, and everything else is out of my purview. So right now, as you and I are talking, this is my sole focus. I am not thinking about anything else other than the fact that you and I are talking right now and we're chilling and hanging out, and that there's chat here hanging out with us. That is all I'm thinking about. And that's kind of how that's how I compartmentalize. That's how I make it work.
Is that do you think that's learned behavior? So can I pick up on that skill, or is that something you're saying specifically from the suicide hotline, that was something they taught you?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I do believe, I'd be curious if you think this now too, that you've gone through the process of becoming a therapist and now you're practicing. Being a therapist is not for everyone.
Yeah.
When I worked on the suicide hotline, we cut people from training. Not everybody that went through training got through.
Yeah.
So, it's not for everybody. I do think there's an innate ability to sit with other people's distress and to empathize and to have the distress tolerance that it takes in order to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that can be learned. I think it has to be learned. I certainly wasn't as good at that prior to working on the suicide hotline, or even prior to being a therapist. I mean, also when I went into my doctoral program, where you're stretched as thin as you could possibly be, you have to learn how to compartmentalize things and know what to put your energy in and what to put half-ass of your energy in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what those things are, and you have to learn those things, and you learn that mindset. But it's a mindset that you have to create for yourself. And I think, some grad programs do a poor job teaching that to people. And don't really give people an opportunity to think through how they're separating themselves, because so many early therapists just get so enmeshed with their clients and the well-being of their clients, and they live and die by how well their clients are doing. And that'll destroy you as a therapist. It'll burn you out super fast if that's something that you all really focus on. So I don't know. I mean, how about, what do you think about that? Is that something you see as being innate, or do you see that as being something that you learned over time?
I think because unless we talk about it with other therapists, I think when I was in school, I had to seek out for it, because it did affect me once I went home after session, taking the L back to Evanston. So it was important for me to talk about it so I can gain some advice or see what other people do. because no one else is really, I didn't really hear any people just like voluntarily talk about what they did to try to remove themselves from the situation after. I don't know if the enmeshment part took too much on me. Like I didn't feel like after they left, I was like worrying about them, or I did like such a great job that made me validate my self-worth. I think it was more so, yeah, how heavy and emotionally drained I was after, and figured it out. And that's what, so I talked to Bill, who was my, wasn't supervisor. Advisor. He was my advisor. And I was like, hey, yo, Bill, what do you do? And I'm like, and he's like, well, Kevin, yeah, he's like, well, what I do is, yeah, I make sure that I do some type of ritual, depending, even I think before therapy, like at the end of the work, like pick something that you really can stick with, to even psych yourself, or maybe like when you hear like the association of like a bell, or in particular in this case was music. Exactly, Pavlov, that conditioning. So when I hear some music, it makes me like more at ease, and me trying to like turn into the next chapter. But it was something I was dealing with, and that was like one of the reasons why I didn't think therapy was like the right move. Was this? It's really taking effect on my personal relationships, because after session I didn't want to talk to anybody, if I had clients every day, I didn't want to talk to anyone until the weekends, and then weekends I was like trying to take time for myself, and maybe call a friend or my parents. But then I'm just like, if they start talking to me about their issues, I'm just like, get it away.
Yep.
Yeah.
All about those boundaries, man.
All about those boundaries. But yeah, one of the other questions I was gonna ask was, so you shared a little bit about your schedule, and for me also, like, diagnosed with ADHD, acute. Hard for me to sit after a 50-minute session. Like I purposely bought the sit stand desk, because after an hour,
Me too.
Yeah.
I alternate. I sit for one session. I stand for the next. I sit for
Yes.
one, I stand for
Yes.
The next. Yep.
So thinking even about streaming, or throughout the day, like we as therapists, like we sit all the time. So how have you been incorporating kind of taking care of your mental health, or what do you do to take care of your mental health right now?
I stream.
Okay.
I don't consider streaming to be work. Streaming's self-care for me.
Mm-hmm.
I spend time with my wife. I mean, I love hanging out with Allie. I love going to, I love cooking dinner and eating with her and watching Jeopardy and all that stuff. Like, I'm happy hanging out with my wife, playing video games, playing guitar, and streaming. As anybody here who watches me on Twitch knows, a lot of times my friends, Sean and Jared, will join me and they'll hang out with me sometimes while I'm streaming and just kind of chat. And it's just like, I mean, the thing is, like, I am easily occupied. So like,
Yeah.
if I have a video game I'm entrenched in, whether it's Destiny or Valheim right now, I'm all over it. I'm good. I can sit and do the same thing for hours on end, and it doesn't bother me. So
Okay.
for me, self-care is just making time to play video games. I play video games offline too, because it is different to play video games offline versus on stream. So I do that. I play my guitar. I rearrange my room sometimes. Like I rearranged my desk yesterday. That was kind of nice. I like to switch things up. I enjoy that kind of thing. I enjoy driving my car. So sometimes I'll go I have a loop around the Vegas Valley that I like to do, where I go up and then down the strip and just kind of drive down the strip and come back around. I love that. But that's kind of how I get through. I talk to my parents a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my self-care. I'm pretty low maintenance when it comes to that stuff. The thing that I need at any given point in time is my brain needs to be engaged in something. So I have a hard time sitting watching TV shows and movies, because my brain just sort of drifts. It's hard for me to stay engaged with those things. I need to be like actively involved in the thing that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where video games really appeals to me. But that's really, that's what I do. It's what I spend the bulk of my time doing. I mean, I've been wanting to start golfing again, but I still have been avoiding that, just kind of due to COVID and stuff. Right now I'm at a point where I could like walk the golf course and be like by myself or with Allie, and that would be fun. I hurt my back really bad last summer when I played golf. The one time I played golf, and so I'm a little skittish to go back out and do that. But golf is good for me because I can walk the course and kind of like get some stamina back, and that's been something that's been on my radar to start doing again.
Okay. So mental, I mean, mental health sounds like it's everything is taken care of hard, like doing, yeah, like it's down pat. How about the physical health?
And I know we talked about how you're gonna ask. My physical health self-care is dog shit. I am absolute garbage at taking care of my body. I don't work out. I don't move very often. Aside from standing and sitting at my desk, I'm not really moving. I feel it, man. I had to go to Home Depot the other day, and I drove to Home Depot, got out of my car, walked around Home Depot, got in my car. I was gassed. Allie and I went to the mall a couple weeks ago just to like walk around, and like we did everything we could to like keep our distance. We just wanted to walk around like outside and like walk on the strip and stuff. I was so tired after that. Like my legs could feel it. I am in the worst physical shape I've been in my life. I haven't gained any weight. Yeah. But I am like, my physical routine is bad. I don't equate physical movement with self-care. I hate running. Anytime I've ever run, I feel like shit. I've never experienced runner's high. I watch Allie do her bike, and she's like super into it. Like my wife works out all the time. Like she loves it. It's self-care for her. She gets out of bed for it. I hate every second of all of it. And I come from a family that's kind of like that. Like I come from a family that has to force themselves to be physically active. So like I don't know if it's in my genes or what it is, but I advocate for people engaging in physical routines and doing things for their body. I eat poorly. I've eaten a little better since COVID, but like I'm not good at taking care of my body. I'm good at taking care of my brain, not good at taking care of my body.
Yeah. So what is that something you're trying to work on, or is it seem like the lifestyle right now? Huh?
No. If I'm being completely honest, no. I have no interest in starting to exercise. I think I have my interest is in like it all falls into things like golf, for example. Golf gives me something to do while I'm moving my body. It gives me something competitive. It gives me something to engage my brain with while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So like I do think that is something that I'm gonna start playing around with, like on Saturdays, going and like even just going to the driving range and moving my body. That I'm willing to do. Exercise, no, not even remotely close to being on my radar. Eating better, I try. I mean, we have minimized how often we eat out. We used to eat out a lot when I lived in Chicago. We don't quite as much we don't order in as much in Vegas as we used to when we lived in Chicago. I do a lot of cooking. I have minimized some of the bad things in the meals that we prep. Like we use HelloFresh, so we get like 3 or 4 meals that we do with that, which has been really helpful. But like if the recipe calls for like 2 tablespoons of butter, I'll use 1. Like I try to do that to like minimize some of that stuff. But I am a person that like, if there were 2 things I could eliminate from my life, if I had a superpower, it would be sleeping and eating. I hate doing both of those things, and so if I could just get rid of those things, I would. I can go all day without eating and not think about it.
Oh wow!
Whereas Ellie like grazes all day. She makes like these cool shakes. She's got like, I mean, she's just like all about it. Like she is awesome at putting that. So she's got fruit. She's got all these things. I'll grab a bag of hot Cheetos, squirt lime juice on it, and go to town. Like I eat to get my stomach full. I don't eat because I want to like nourish my body, which I know is not great. Everybody always talks about how it's going to catch up with me.
People say that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been told my whole life once my metabolism goes down, I'm screwed. Because I have a high metabolism. I burn stuff off. Like I've gained no weight. If you saw what I eat, you'd be like, holy shit, you should weigh twice what you weigh. I don't gain weight. I'm grateful for that in some ways, but I have had to minimize the quantity of junk food that I eat. I will say that. Like I don't order as much from McDonald's as I used to when I go to McDonald's. I don't eat as many hot Cheetos when I eat my hot Cheetos as I used to. I try to make fresh salsa as much as I can because that's like my favorite thing to eat.
Yeah.
So like I do things like this, but I have so many things going on in my life right now that like my exercise and like eating differently are not a priority for me.
Yeah.
They're just not. I will say that I actually I recently got a new chair that is a lot more ergonomic.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that I have a lot less back issues from when I used to have that gaming chair that I was using for a long time, and that has actually made a big difference in my physical health. Like, it's amazing what a good chair can do for you.
Yeah. So the funny thing about that gaming chair, because I think it was your recommendation that I got one as well. Not your recommendation. I thought it was cool, and I just asked you for what it was. But for me, yeah, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense and register in my head. I was like, wait, why am I buying a gaming chair? But I feel like there's so much more research for office chairs. It never clicked, and then I was like,
either, man.
I was like, they look cool. People are doing it on the stream, like people. But yeah, like office chairs been around way longer, and that's their job. But
Yep.
they might not look the prettiest, but boy, has it done wonders for my lower back and just back in general.
Basically, I never understood how important that was until I sat in this chair and I was like, oh my god. Like, my entire back right now is supported.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I used to be like this, and the back of my hat would be against the chair, so my neck would be pushed forward, and I'd be like this. And it was miserable, dude. I was waking up, and I was sore, and I felt terrible, and like I never would have thought, but I sit in this chair for hours a day.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I look at those as being kind of the small things that I try to do, like having the standing desk. That helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having a chair that's a lot more supportive for me is good. Like, when we moved to Chicago, we bought a nice bed that we actually just recently finished paying off. Like, we bought a nice bed because, like, the things you spend a lot of time in are the things that you should invest in.
Yeah. What mattress did you buy?
We have like a Serta, one of the really nice memory foam.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we paid a lot of money for it when we bought it.
Yeah.
We took 3 years to pay it off.
Holy crap.
But but that was like, we were both like, we need to have a good, because we slept in a twin bed.
Oh.
Whenever she would, like, I mean, dude, her and I have had a horrible past of, like, beds and stuff we slept in. So we were, when we moved in Chicago, to where we thought we were going to be for a long time, we're like, we're going to invest in a bed.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in bed. If there's anywhere we're going to spend money and have, like, we can afford the monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. It took 3 years to pay off the bed, but man, am I glad we did that. Like, that kind of stuff has made a big difference.
Yeah. What size was the bed?
Oh, it's a queen now.
It's queen. Okay.
Yeah.
Life changer, game changer.
Well, so I don't like big beds. Like, I would never want to go bigger than a queen. I slept on a closed futon for most of my life.
Yeah.
Like, literally from when I was like 9 or 10 years old to all the way through my undergrad, I slept on a futon.
Jeez.
Like a shitty futon.
Yeah.
And so I like being crammed. Like, I really like being held.
Yeah.
And that would allow that. So a big bed is very uncomfortable. Like, if we go to a hotel and we're in a king size bed, I'm very uncomfortable. I do not like having all that this sprawl out. I like being huddled.
Yeah, the nurturing. It's
what do you like? So, like, what are the things that you invest in? Like, because I know you're a lot bigger on physical health than I am.
Mm-hmm.
You pay a lot more attention to that stuff than I do. Like, where do you invest your stuff?
Yeah. So I think touch is one piece. Just getting that, like, touch from somewhere. If I'm not in a relationship, making sure that, like, and also COVID is, like, the distancing is not the best. So there's just no touch. So I got a chiropractor. So I've been going 3 times a week. But also because of sitting, and yeah, just because of sitting, like, lower back. Had, like, shoulder issues since I was in high school from sports. I had neck issues. I got, like, tombstone power drove, like, in 6th grade on my neck, and I never fixed the issue. And then finally, once I got some discretionary income, I was like, all right, let's find a chiropractor in the area. And Dr. Jason is his name. He also has a YouTube channel. He's got, like, 1 million subscribers, and that's how I found him, because I was watching a lot of these back cracking videos. I was like, this is, like, satisfying for, like, ASMR. But I'm also really interested because I would like that to happen for me. And I'm saying it's been a game changer. It's been about a month. Shoulder pain has decreased, neck pain, because aside from them just doing like adjustments, you still are building and building strength, and then massages as well. So do the muscle work, they then do the alignment work, because once they did my x-rays, they really see how out of line my neck was. It's very straight and you need more curve to it. And I was also developing lower back. I was getting some scoliosis and arthritis in my lower back.
Oh, jeez.
And I didn't know it. It wasn't pain. He was like, hey, it's good that you're not noticing any pain, but I'm glad you came in so we can take care of it. And that cost, that sent me back $4,500 for 30 sessions. And so about each month I'll pay $375. So it's a big price. It's a big price of investment. And then the other piece was I bought a gym set. That was something new. A whole like barbell weights, because they're super hard to find right now.
Yeah, it is.
And I dropped, I think, $1,300 on that thing. So pretty much the investment right now, instead of putting in my Roth IRA, I'm just putting it into physical health as the investment, because I'm trying to, like, part of it why I like talking to you about this is like, because it sounds like the mental health is so taken care of. It only can, like, our bodies are only going to take us so far as well. So I want to match it and be like optimized on both as strong as I can, so that I can live as long as I want, or not as I want, but as long as I can, and do so enjoying it, not like doing so because I've got like a limp leg and like my mental is very sharp, but I can't really like walk around. That's how I view it. But then I also bought the mattress too, and I'm the opposite. This is really cool. It's like I feel like our standards of living is so different, where I prefer the bigger bed, and I have a king just to myself. And just sprawl.
I would hate every second of that. I would not be able to fall asleep. I would literally fall asleep on the couch or in my chair or on the floor before I would fall asleep in a king size bed by myself.
Yeah.
I would absolutely hate that.
You're very similar to my friend Daryl. So Daryl, he actually sleeps in my closet. Everywhere we go, he'll bring his own like nice like camping air mattress, which was like $200 or something. I was like, what is that? I've never seen an air mattress this expensive. But there's like a luxury like little foam pad, and he'll just sleep in my closet, and people find it's funny, but I'm just like, he's been doing this for so long now, I don't even think anything of it. Even the one with like the sliding glass, and they're like pretty narrow, he'll sleep and then just like open it and like we'll talk. So, but it's really funny.
Yep, I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I'd be all right with that. I could live in one of those tiny houses.
Tiny houses, yeah.
I could totally do a tiny house.
The closeness. So I guess we kind of hit about mental health. We hit physical health. And I know, we're running. We wrap things up by 3.
You're fine. I mean, I can go a little over 3. We were doing all the stuff. Like I'm good for whenever. Like whenever you find good stuff, we go a little over 3. I'm fine with that.
Has there been any questions in the audience? I haven't even checked.
None that I've seen recently. So.
Yeah, I feel like you're very good at scanning, and
I'm always watching chat. Like whenever I'm playing games and stuff, chat is always in my purview. So
that's awesome.
I've been doing this for over 2 years now. So for me, it's just sort of innate. I know you're still kind of getting your bearing doing the streaming stuff.
Yeah.
I like that you do these conversations. By the way, I think it's cool that you kind of have these like. When you bring people on, you have these like 4 things that you try to like touch on with all these people. Like I hope that if any of my peeps are still chilling out in chat and stuff, like give my man a sub, because he
appreciate it.
He's got good stuff going.
Yeah, like I just always curious about learning about people's like tendencies, mannerisms, and like what they do to like take care of their like well-being. And I guess like the relationship side. So in a relationship, pretty long time. So I think also different is I'm single. You're married. We've talked about Ryan's actually seen me go through 2 breakups since we've known each other. And it's been very interesting. I think right now I'm at a point where I'm on the dating apps. I like to look. I say this on a date.
You like to window shop?
I like to window shop. I say I went on a date Saturday, and I was like, I like to look, but I don't want to touch.
I was a chiropractor, dude. The touching.
Yeah, let the chiropractor do my touching. And yeah, I think just right now is just really focusing on trying to build the audience. And I think that there is limitations with being an associate, like the private practice thing, also working under someone, so not being able to be fully transparent or just making sure that everything is like professional at the same time, like entertaining but informative.
Yep.
So it's been, I think the relationships for once since freshman year has taken the back seat, where there's not that. I think that was my vice before. Like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. It was more just like chasing women, because of like freshman year, first time actually like experiencing emotional desire. And then now I'm 28. It isn't as like strong or like chase after it, because it was like I feel like I experienced a lot of things. Curious to know, like, if even in your state now, like, how do you think you would navigate the dating world?
Oh, I would hate it. I would hate it. I am grateful every day that that lovely woman over there said yes to marrying me, because I would hate it. I don't envy anybody in their late 20s, early 30s trying to date right now.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's COVID. I mean, it's already hard enough, but COVID has made it an absolute bitch. I really don't envy it. I mean, people I think are. Luckily, I have a wife who every night I can hug.
Yeah.
Kiss, and like I can lay on her lap and she plays my hair. Like, I'm not longing for physical touch in the way that I can imagine that a person who, cares so much about physical touch like that. That's got to be just so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it would be miserable. I would hate it. I'd probably do the same thing you do. I'd window shop, but I would have no interest in it. I'm 31 now, and I never really had a period of time where I was like chasing all this stuff. Like, I mean, I had a period of time where I was sitting in my ass playing video games saying, boy, it'd be really cool if a lot of girls came through, but like, I wasn't actively participating in that. I've never been good at that.
Yeah.
I'm thankful every goddamn day that I managed to work out with my wife, because like I don't want to have to look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I found the person I want to be with. So
Yeah.
I don't think I would navigate it well. I think it's hard because when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, almost anybody that you're going to date at that point has some degree of, I'm going to use the colloquial word baggage, like that they have their experiences from prior relationships that they're bringing in. And so at that point, there's not a freshness anymore to an actual relationship. This is the new relationship, but I'm bringing with me things that I've learned.
Yeah.
Or if it's a person who has not ever been in a relationship, there's a massive dissonance because you've been in relationships and you've had these experiences. This person has not. Trying to equalize that is really hard. So it's a very jarring process in your late 20s to try to date, because people are bringing those remnants into their relationship. Not that you can't navigate them, but it makes it more complicated when you're like in college and everybody's just like, let's try it. It'll be fun. Like, we'll see what happens. It doesn't have that vibe to it really anymore when you start to get older. I mean, it does for some, but that's something I don't want any part of. I am not good at chasing. I'm not good, although I did chase my wife, but I'm not good at chasing people and putting myself out there in that way. I've always been more of a you come to me kind of person.
Yeah.
And that's not really good for dating. So, my wife was actually, she was the one that was assertive at first. Like, she was the one that was engaging with me at first. And then once I saw that she was interested, like you could tell there were vibes, then I was like, all right, let's go. Let's try and make this thing happen. But I have to give her credit for being the one that was engaging with me, because she very much has I want to be your friend, so I'm going to be your friend. And it was really great that she was willing to, I'm a lucky dude, man. I am grateful to be in a wonderful marriage.
Yeah. So thinking about, I guess, humor me on this one. You think you'd be more like the dating apps, or like being at the bar, or like reaching out to old classmates or friends, of setting you up with a mutual friend? Like, what avenue do you think you would go through?
I don't even know, man. I gotta be honest with you, I don't even think about it, because like I don't have to. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I mean, when I was when I was in college, it was mostly like, would it drop in my lap? Like if it didn't, then I wasn't into it. I'm not a approach you at the bar kind of guy. Like yeah, I mean, it's funny you're asking me this because I don't ever think about it. I'm so happily married that like the idea of what I would even do if I was single is just not even remotely in my mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, how about like what have you been doing? Like, how do you navigate it? Like, you're in the thick of it right now.
I think if my mindset was like I wanted to date more and get in like a serious relationship, it'd be the online dating for sure. And you're right about the late 20s, early 30s. Like from my experience, is like you're either coming out of a relationship that's maybe ended 6 months ago or a couple months ago, that you're still processing things, but you might want to seek out another relationship just to kind of get your mind off of that, or seek the attention or connection with someone else. So let's see. I think one of my main fears was always just approaching at like a grocery store, at a gym, of saying like hi, introducing yourself, or like doing like the art of the form of like pickup in the real world, or the outside in like physical spaces. And it's a lot harder now with like masks and everything like that. So that would be when I'm like feeling up for it and very like confident and like sexy. That would be the approach. Is like going to Whole Foods, areas where I think that target demographic, produce, yes, yeah, produce, or I'm trying to think of other places. Yeah, places where there's other people. I think sometimes it was like, oh, maybe you go on a beach or something, or like a trail and a hike, but it's that I feel like it's a little bit too sketchy.
You can't just approach somebody on the hiking trail.
Hey, how's it going?
Like,
nice shoes.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, dating apps, and then just trying to do in person, but focus more on person. Or even I would say the more ideal would be the Instagram DM. If they have a strong online presence, it's more of like targeted. I don't know about how successful it's going to be, but it's something more like, more like you're interested or I'm interested. Let me try to shoot my shot, because people do send DMs now. Saying like, hey, how's it going? Okay. And then I guess anything about, I'm curious if the chat had anything questions about the relationship, or any relationship questions for Ryan or myself.
I do see Lucky Duck has asked that question once before. While we wait for those to come in, how do you learn what type of therapy you use? It depends on what you're trained in. We were both trained in an integrative model, so Kevin and I can kind of move adeptly through different models, but there are some programs that will teach you the different models and then ask you to pick which ones you like the best, or you write a theory of change paper. But we were both trained integratively, so we go off of what person's problem is. Like when they come in, whatever they want to talk about, we'll pick whatever model or theory is most going to, or mixture of them, that will apply and help us formulate a good treatment plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even so I guess you were doing that under supervision as well, though, like IST. And even when you joined the other private practice, like that was oh
yeah, I'm doing integrative stuff.
Okay.
Even when I'm even not being at Northwestern. Like Northwestern's model is to teach that. And like I have drank that Kool-Aid for a long time. I mean, when I was a student back when it was integrative problem centered meta frameworks, like back in the day, I was all for that. Now it's integrative systemic therapy. But like I have believed in integration even before I was a therapist. That was one of the things that was appealing to me about the program that we both went through, was that we got to learn to be the therapists we want to be, because you learn all the different models. I mean, I taught, for anybody who's watching this who doesn't know, I taught the models class at Northwestern. And so I would actually teach all the different models to people, and then I had kind of a cohesive framework that I owned over time. When I taught you guys the models class, it was not quite as refined as it was by the time I was finished teaching it, because I kind of came up with a framework over the course of that. But it's like I sort of bob and weave. So like I'm not using the same model with every single client that comes through. You miss out on like a third of your clients by doing that, because of research has shown time and again that that's the case. So it's just sort of like whatever a client comes in with, I'm trying to figure out, all right, what's the issue? What are we working towards? What's getting in the way? And then depending on what's getting in the way, I'm borrowing from different theories.
Yeah.
To try to determine how to help the person work through stuff.
Yeah. And it's been different too, because I joined a CBT clinic, and they don't do integrative approach. So like, even if I have an individual and I see that it might be beneficial to bring in the other systems, no, like we outsource, get someone else to do it, do the couples therapy, do the families therapy. So it's against my training. So just learning a whole new set of rules and a lot more diagnosing than I was ever trained. So that's been kind of cool. Also, like working with the Asian American population, I think even in school I was remembering like the models that worked specifically well with Asian Americans was narrative therapy as well as CBT because of the structure behind it. So first time actually having to use like a workbook, CBT workbook.
Wow.
And kind of putting that to like what a protocol would look like for people that haven't used CBT protocols. Like almost if you've gone through physical therapy before or some type of training program, like you have the exercise that are given to you by your physical therapist during session, and then when you're home or do whatever outside of session, then you do it on your own. But yeah, like the first piece is like all educational, and then we do some type of like training, breathing work, and then a lot of like skills, and then exposures. Like a big piece of it is I didn't expect I was going to do this many exposures as a clinician either. So it's been cool. It's been very different. A lot by the book, so it does give me a little bit more ease because it's like, oh, we're following the book. But some clients, I don't know if I've met a client yet that's been like, this is all I want. This is like hardcore CBT. I want this structure. Run me through the manual. So that has been kind of interesting. And I think if I start a private practice, I don't want to go straight CBT, but I can see how effective it is and how marketable it is for a audience that isn't really well versed in therapy.
Yeah. I would never want to work out of a workbook. I couldn't stomach that. That would drive me nuts. There's a lot of CBT in the work that I do. I think there's good tenets to CBT, but I'm huge on emotion.
Yeah.
And so CBT sort of puts emotion into a sphere that is kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like it's sort of an acknowledgement of an emotional experience, but we're going to target the things we can control, which I'm all about. I'm all about focusing on the things that we can actually control, but I like to have a little bit more of the like internal validation of the emotional work as opposed to it being where we acknowledge it and then move on.
Yeah.
No, the emotion that you're experiencing at any given point in time is the foundation through which you are creating meaning and through which you're behaving. And so we're going to connect these things as opposed to it being something where we go, sure, you're frustrated, but let's focus on what you're telling yourself and what you're doing. It's like, yes, you're frustrated, and we're going to focus on what you're going to tell yourself and do while you're frustrated. We're going to acknowledge the emotional experience throughout the entire thing. And I can't get into the whole like throw the emotion over here kind of shit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I couldn't be the therapist that I am without it. And so manualizing it just takes the art out of it.
Yeah.
To me, that is something that is just, it's all a book. It's a science. You go, and you're good. And it's, as opposed to it being like a human exchange. So.
That for sure. Like that threshold for my emotional tolerance isn't as high as before when I was in school. Like I don't hit on emotion as hard or tolerate even myself. Like I don't feel that comfortable going in. I can't sit with it as long as I would like.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is very...
I see a relationship question. It says, in toxic relationships, people sometimes don't see the red flags until after the relationship. Do they choose to be blind, or is it some sort of manipulation that happens? You don't know it's a red flag until you experience it. Like, it's not a blind thing. It's not a choose. Some people choose to be blind, but I wouldn't be so harsh on yourself about that.
Yeah.
By having different relationships, you learn what you like and what you don't like. Red flags are also relative. What's a red flag for one person is not necessarily a red flag for somebody else. It's all a learning process. Manipulation can happen. Abuse can happen. Those are red flags in and of themselves. But like, most people wouldn't say they see the red flags after. They would say that they start to see them
But yeah.
On those red flags is the thing that's hard. Like, it's one thing to be in a relationship and like be invested in that relationship and then see what's a red flag. A lot of people will override that because they have investment in the relationship. When you're after, it's easier to see that thing as a red flag because you're no longer emotionally invested in that relationship. So it's not about not seeing it while you're in the relationship. It's about acting on it when you see it and making decisions about how to either engage in that, with that in your relationship and make that known, or leave it.
Yeah. And notice like, friends start bringing it up, and if there's like multiple people saying it and it's still you don't believe it, then it's like, well, that's where am I like kidding myself. But also, I see like people harp on the red flags. Like, oh, I need, if it hits 3 red flags, this is it. Like, I'm ending things. So
I'm not into quantifying stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hate quantifying mental health and relationship issues. When people say like 2 or 7 years, and like when you hear numbers in relationships and in therapy and the human experience, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quality is way better than quantity.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last piece. I don't know if we need to hit on finances. I think that we can. I just want to be mindful of time.
It's up to you, man. Whatever works for you. I'm down with whatever. You want to end here? We can end here. If you want to go into it for a little while, we can go into it. I don't mind.
I guess keep it finances. Are curious about portfolio on as a therapist. Your portfolio of where is all the money allocated right now? Like, what percentages is in investments or in a house fund or in the stream or wherever. So like, again, for a little bit of background on me, right now I would say like 5% is in my checkings account. Another 15.
You can use your numbers, man. Like you can do whatever's comfortable for you.
Yeah. No, I'll stick with you. So 15% probably in like a savings account, and then the rest of the 80% is in Bitcoin. So it's very heavy on crypto right now.
Into crypto, all right.
Really into crypto. But that's it. I'm still trying to take out money right now to see if I can start investing into like logo design. I reached out and purchased a have the logo be animated so I can have like an intro, pretty much like a lot of marketing materials and stuff like that. So I will cut a sliver off of that. But yeah, I was curious to know what does yours look like?
So I have 2 main sources of income. The primary majority source of the income of like what I pay my bills with is being a therapist.
Mm.
And then the Twitch stuff is kind of like a side passive income that I can basically reinvest into itself. So right now, like the thing that's most on our radar is hopefully purchasing a house. Nevada has a rule where if you're self-employed, you can't even apply for a mortgage until 2 years after owning the business. So like we can't even apply for a home until 2022. But right now it's helpful without having student loans to pay off. When student loans come back, I got to allocate a lot of money over to those, which really sucks. But I mean, we basically, like, our business is right now is relatively profitable. We right now are at a point where we're taking the income and we're kind of putting it back into the business as best we can. Like, I have to start, like advertising and stuff like that is on my radar. Making sure that we're getting advertised, like, brochures and things like that distributed so that people know that we exist. That gets expensive really fast. I had to pay a lot of money up front in order to get the business going with like licensing and with just all the startup costs, as you know. There's a lot that goes into that stuff. But I would say like right now what we do is our business is structured as an S corp, and for anybody that doesn't know what that means, like basically means that my wife and I pay ourselves a salary. So we pay ourselves like it's not a significant salary. We basically like in our joint account we basically break even every month. Like I've sort of budgeted out where what we pay each other or what we pay ourselves keeps it even, and then the rest of the money's there to sort of invest in the business and to put in that stuff. Stream stuff I use in order to, so like I have my pal Sean. He does all the video production and stuff for me. He does all my design, not all my design work. I do some of the design work, but he does a lot of the videography. He does all these montages. He does a lot of production stuff for me, and he also runs my Instagram and TikTok. I now pay him to do that, so that's been kind of cool. A lot of the income that I make from the stream, I use to pay him. I also use it to buy equipment, games, to make sure that the stuff is running nice and smoothly. I use that to do marketing in the form of subscribing to different other streamers to kind of market with them, that kind of thing. But we're not we're not in a position right now where we're dumping a lot of money in investment. We're mostly in savings, so we're moving whatever we can at the end of the month into savings, so that we have a nice nest egg to be able to put for a down payment on a house when the time comes. So we're not I have dabbled in crypto. Like I've had my eyes on it for a while. I've been looking at it. I haven't officially invested in it yet, but I've been looking at it. I like the idea of doing some stock and options trading, but the thing that has stopped me from doing that is I know I'd get obsessive about it if I jump in. So if I started trading, for example, and I got all set up on a trading platform and was watching that, or was doing crypto, I'd be hawking that for hours a day, and I don't want to move my brain in that direction yet.
Yeah.
Like right now, for us, our priority is like a house and a nest egg, so we have like a rainy day fund. So if things crash, we're okay.
Yeah.
That's really what we're focused on right now. But I have an accountant that does all the business accounting and all that stuff for me, and does my taxes and everything like that. When she gets back to us with our taxes for this year, and I get a better picture of what it looks like, that's where we're really going to sit down and ask ourselves, do we want to start investing in certain areas? Do we want to get somebody who can maybe manage some of our money? Do we want to open a Roth IRA? Do we want to do some of those things? These are things that are on my radar but haven't really been operationalized fully yet, because we're still, I would say by and large, on the month to month, we are pretty much at even. We're not, if you include the little bits that we put into savings, I'm not making buku money right now. I'm not swimming in a bunch of disposable income. We are still very much just kind of it's the millennial way, man. We're just trying to get through it. We saved a lot of money by moving out to Vegas. It's cheaper to live out here than it is to live in Chicago, but it's still we net a little bit positive every month, but we're not making leaps and bounds a lot of money yet. And I don't do what I do. Here's the thing, something I've learned over these last couple of years for me, and I'd be curious of your take on this, is I'm much more interested in my mental health and my time being taken care of than I am having a bunch of disposable income.
Yeah.
I don't need a lot of things. I don't need to travel a whole bunch. I don't need to have big expensive stuff. I have a car that I enjoy driving. I have my computer equipment that I use but it's also a business, that I'm running with it. But I'm happy with those things, and so I don't need to make a ton of money every month. I'm more invested in trying to build my brand and build my presence online, trying to build our practice, trying to make sure that I'm happy, because for the most part I am comfortable and happy right now with where I'm at. If you threw, the only thing that I would desperately love to have paid off are my student loans. Yeah. If somebody threw me $300K to pay off my student loans, because that's how big they are, somebody threw me $300K to pay off my student loans, I'd be in a lot different position than I am right now. But if somebody dropped $100,000 on my lap right now, I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't know what to do with it. I would be okay, cool, I'll put it in the nest egg, because I still can't buy a house. So it's one of those things where I'm not wanting for more income so much as I'm wanting to have more influence and more of an impact and be able to have the resources to do what I want to do. And that's really what's important for Allie and I.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, since our field is very fee for service, it's I've been really trying to brainstorm more for passive income opportunities, specifically trying to get more involved in real estate, and seeing even with savings account, I would see what type of savings account could give you a little bit higher interest, so we're not losing money each year on it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I was using with BlockFi, where I do store my cryptocurrency. They give 8.6% right now on cash.
Nice.
So but rates can change all the time, and that's I know what you're saying, like you're hawking because you gotta keep watching it. So I do see that does take, but I also enjoy it. Like I enjoy the where I can
I think I would too, which is why I'm so scared. Yeah.
where I can move money and figure out where to invest. But yeah, I wouldn't even say maybe I invest $100 in my Roth IRA every month. It's not even anything, but it's just getting those habits down. Yeah.
I mean, you're still talking $1,200 a month or $1,200 a year.
Yeah.
And building interest, and if there's times you can put a little bit extra in.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of do the same thing. Like if we have certain dividends we can pull from the business. Right now we're sort of pulling those to savings. If I could pull that to investing, we're sort of have splits where I have a better idea that's more consistent of what we're looking like. I would love to start getting into doing some investing because I think that's really an important thing for people to be able to do if they have the money to do it.
Yeah. So you're thinking about the next big purchase item is a house.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean kittens, but then
kittens. Kittens.
Yeah. We're looking at kittens, but yeah, no, the house is. I mean, a lot of things move forward when we find a house. So we don't need a huge house. Like we're not looking for anything massive. We're just looking. Honestly, the space we live in is perfect size for us right now. But we'd like a house, not just so that I'm not dumping money into rent. I'd love to have money going into something I have equity in, right? So that's important to us. But where we determine our house is going to be is going to set into motion where at some point when we have a physical therapy practice, where that's going to be what office.
You do want to open one.
I think so for Allie and for some of our associates, yes. I'm comfortable doing online therapy for the rest of my career. But
Yeah.
I know that Allie having an opportunity to potentially go to an office to see clients, at that point we might have multiple associates who want to have an office space to go see. I'm totally up for that. It's another cost, right? Like rent for office space is expensive. Right now it's a lot cheaper to have people working from home, but that's a down the line thing. I mean, that's not even remotely on my radar. I'd eventually like to have a physical office space in Chicago as well for people who work for us in Chicago to have a space to go in instead of having to work from home. But these are things that I can't afford to do right now.
Yeah.
But a house is definitely what's on our radar right now. I'm tired of paying rent. I'm tired of shitty property management companies. Ours isn't that bad. The one that we live in is okay, but they're short-staffed on maintenance, and that's a pain in the ass. We don't have the appliances that we would eventually like to have. It's just I've grown tired of living in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a condo or a house, I think that's something that's really important to us, so that we can kind of have our space and grow it and build equity and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what's on our radar right now.
Were you thinking about? Have you thought about doing an investment property before you buy a house that you live in?
Honestly, with how stretched thin I am with running a business and doing the streaming stuff, because my streaming stuff is growing a lot right now.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think we'd probably be more interested in after we got something for ourselves. If I wanted to branch out and kind of diversify, maybe. But I don't know that I like the idea of being a landlord. To be complete, that just has never really appealed to me.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. No, interesting. I mean, and there's no one-way route, but it's always interesting to hear the financial decisions that people make and where they're at currently. And it sounds like a big piece of it's investing it back into things that are going on with two businesses that you're running.
That's really where we're at. I mean, pretty much 100% of what I make from the stream at this point goes right back in.
Yeah.
I had a bit, so when we moved and we got here, there was a bit of I wouldn't call it a hardship, but we hit a pretty significant blip. And that actually coincided with an uptick. There was a short period of time where stream was actually making more than what my average spent. That actually helped keep us afloat through that blip. So there was that point where I was using stream funds in order to keep us afloat and help pay our rent and our insurance and stuff. And now we've kind of gotten back to where it's equalized a little bit, to where we can pay our bills with being therapists, and then the stream stuff I can reinvest into the stream and really make sure that that's growing and being what I want it to be. And I'm constantly looking for like different opportunities now, and I've really started to see what the stream's capable of, and I'm trying to kind of really make sure that I'm investing in that for the long term. Like, I'm okay turning around everything I make from that and putting it into the stream.
Yeah.
Because I see that long-term investment.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so please, everyone, go support Dr. Mick Live on his Twitch, or whatever tip software you use. I'm not even sure what it is. Stream Elements.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I appreciate the shout out. If people want to know where to find me, you can find me on Twitch. Stream 6 days a week, basically, and I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Post all sorts of cool stuff there. You are welcome to follow. It's Dr. Mick Live on all of those things, and people can find me there if they'd like.
Nice. I guess the last couple questions that I had, and yeah, if anyone else in the chat had last minute questions, would you rather have a brand new streaming studio or a new car?
Is neither an option?
Neither.
I'm happy with both.
Yeah, neither is an option.
I mean, I like my car.
What do you have?
I drive a Subaru BRZ, a 2020 Subaru BRZ. So I drove a BRZ back in 2016, and I had to get rid of it when I moved to Chicago because it had winter tires, or had summer tires on it, and because it would just be parked all winter, and it was a waste of money. But when we got back to Vegas, that was one of the things Allie and I had been saving up for, was to make sure that we could get a car. So I love my car. I don't really have any. I'm not longing for a new car. I mean, a new streaming studio. I guess if you were going to say like you could put a third room in my apartment, so that this room could become Allie's workout room, and I could have like a pure streaming studio.
Yeah.
I suppose I'd take that, but my office is basically that.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you a picture of my setup, because like I have my cave. Like, I have a couch right here. I got the TV there. I've got my desk, like my 4 monitors. Like, I have been able to piecemeal my setup together for the last 2 years. So I guess if you were going to force me to pick, if you said I could upgrade my car to like I love the 2020 Corvette. Like, if you could.
Yeah.
So like, if you could upgrade my car, I would probably take the car.
Okay.
Because my stream setup is is everything I need it to be right now.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. If you were like, all right, dude, I'll throw you a 2020 Corvette or a new stream setup, I'm taking the Corvette.
Probably, yeah. I don't even know how much more expensive. No,
Which one are you going for?
I would take. I mean, yeah, I would take a car. I need a new car. My car is from '08, so it's time for it's running on its last legs. And then the last one would be playing guitar with John Mayer or throwing out the opening pitch at a World Series game for the Cubs.
Oh man. That's a hard one. Okay, so here's why this is a difficult one for me to answer. I'm sure most people who know me would be like John Mayer, 100%. But here's the thing. If I was offered the opportunity to play guitar with John Mayer, I wouldn't be able to speak, let alone play my guitar, man. Like, I would be so just. I mean, you can see it in how I can't even come up with words right now. Like, I'm afraid of meeting John Mayer because I don't know how I wouldn't be able to speak to him. Like, I would be just a bumbling idiot while I was doing it. So, like, the idea of playing guitar with him, you want to talk about imposter syndrome? Oh my God. So that would really be hard for me. I think even if I had ample preparation, throwing out the first pitch for the Cubs in a World Series, I think would be amazing. But because they've already won the World Series, it wouldn't have that like level of oomph to it anymore. Like, if you were to tell me that back in 2016 I could throw the first pitch in Game 7 of the World Series, I mean, I'd probably shit my pants, but that would be pretty awesome because then I get to be at the game.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, I think I probably would take the opportunity to meet John Mayer and get some guitar tips from him. I just would really he'd have to be ready for me to be an idiot for a little while until I got comfortable. He is one of the very few, if maybe the only person in the world who, if I met him, I would probably instantly cry and be speechless. Like, I just, the amount of impact that him and his music has had on me in my life.
Yeah.
it's so hard to like quantify that, and you so badly want to tell a person that. And I just don't know. I don't know, man. It would be awkward.
I wanna make that happen. I want to make that happen. The
oh my god, man,
so
that would be something.
So my roommate's brother, he used to work at Capitol Records, and he would do. Or I had him on stream, and he was telling me stories about artists that he would run into because he would be working like sound for them or doing like errands. Like if someone needed coffee or needed alcohol, he would go and run. And one of the sessions that he was working on was on John Mayer's, and I was like, oh no way! Like I know a guy who's really obsessed with John Mayer, and he would probably.
I've like become like so many people associated me with John Mayer, dude. When John Mayer got started on his TikTok, I got texts and emails from so many people that were like, hey, do you know John's on TikTok now? Like I've like become like associated with him in like in people's brains that I know because I'm just so like open about it. But yeah.
And I've witnessed the crying. So I have another friend. His name is Attilio. He has he has a couple soccer players tattooed on his leg, and one of them is Del Pirlo. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm saying it wrong. But he has a restaurant in LA, and we were gonna go there just to eat. He's from Italy, so there's such a slim chance of him actually gonna be at the restaurant, and sure enough, he sat at the table next to us.
Oh.
So we get in there, and we just kind of sit down, and I don't even know how the guy looks like. So he sees him, and he's in his private room. So we sat there, and we see him in his private room, and he's like, Attilio walks over and opens the door and started just saying his name like really loud, and I'm like, who the hell is he talking to? This like, there's no way that he knows someone from someone at the restaurant, and. At the time, it kind of rude because like they were having private dinner, and my friend Attila was just calling for him, and but he's like, dude, I felt like possessed. I didn't know what else to do, so I called. So then eventually, he came out, and it was him, and my friend just started crying, like lost it, couldn't even control it, and I'm laughing, but like first off, like who is this guy? I didn't even know who he was. And then they hugged, they took pictures together. He showed him the tattoo on his leg. And it really just made the entire night and just gleaming.
Oh, God, yeah.
But yeah, I want to witness that.
I have 4 John Mayer tattoos on my arm. I've always wondered, like, if he met me. It's like, I literally have the man's initials on my arm. I don't know. I don't know how he'd react. He'd be like, cool, man, that's a little weird. We don't know each other, but like... Like I have his initials, I have his signature, I've got his guitars, and then I've got a lyric.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I have a John Mayer Stratocaster behind me. I have a John Mayer Martin OM. Like I've like I got a John Mayer poster in my closet, man.
Yeah, hopefully I walk into him and then I can get him a video of saying like happy birthday to you or something.
Dude. Oh man, you wanna make my heart stop. That'd be the way. You ever run into him? I mean, obviously you will tell me, but like you have got to tell me. I would love to shake his hand someday and just say thanks for, I know you don't know me, but you've had a massive impact on my life, and I'm grateful for that.
I would even take a picture and see if he and tag him and see if he reposts it or anything like that, because that's where I see a lot of people like The Rock or Joe Rogan. People like have portraits of their face and then they repost it. So maybe you never know. I think by at the end of whatever age, there'd be a time when that moment's gonna happen. So I'm excited for it.
We'll see. I hope so. I would love to at some point. I would love for it to happen. We'll see. But yeah, I'm taking to answer your question. I'm taking Guitar with Mary, even though it would scare the shit out of me.
Okay. Well, other than that, yeah, I think there's a good stopping point. Curious, anyone else have any other questions? But other than that, yeah, I hope you had a good time. I was curious, what's your experience? What'd you think of it?
This is fun. I mean, dealing with the audio issues is always a nightmare, especially when you're live. But we got through it. We troubleshot it. We got there.
Yeah.
No, it was just great. I like talking to you, man. I always enjoy when we get to catch up and chat about things. It's been cool to watch you build this and put work into what you're trying to do here. I think it's really cool. I love the concept that you have and the different people that you've been bringing on. Like I'm hopeful that you will continue to grow and find your niche in this space, because I really think that you absolutely have the potential and the chops to do it. And this is a lot of fun for me. I mean, I love just shooting the shit and talking about stuff and answering questions and hanging out with cool people and chat. I mean, this is fun for me.
Nice.
Well, it was good. How was it for you? I was hanging out today for you.
Awesome, dude. I think, yeah, all the questions that I was like, that were on my mind, or I mean, there's some that we didn't get to. I'll probably just ask you off air, but mostly everything, yeah, aside from the audio, I thought it went really well. I think there's a lot of moments even too of like, oh wow, I'm glad that Ryan talked about this, or like elaborated on that specific thing. So I thought that was really cool. And then what was the other thing I was gonna say? Who is someone that you would nominate that you would like to hear more from? Someone in your life that you think would be cool on this?
Man, you gave me a heads up you were going to ask me this, and then it went out of my mind. Who would I? Well, it's hard because I sort of have to know who you have the ability to gain access to. You're looking for people that can basically touch on these 4 things, right? Or is there or one of the 4, or like what?
Either one of the 4. One of the 4. Nothing has to be all 4 every time, but depending on how much time they can, because I think each section can take.
I'm gonna throw a name at you that he's a good friend of mine in the stream world, and I've actually had the opportunity to be on his podcast. And I really think you'd like him a lot because he's really into physical health. And he's a personal trainer. He streams on Twitch. He's a speed runner. General Andrews would be a person that I think you would have a really cool conversation with. He's the guy that I might throw out at you.
Okay.
I hope he's putting his name out there, but he's really I admire what he does and what he brings to Twitch, and your vibes, I think, would work really well, and I think a lot of the questions you have, he could, everything I lack in the physical health department, he is like 100% like on the other side as me.
Yeah.
And to me, like, he seems like he'd be a guy that I think would fit what you're trying to do, and I think he'd be a really cool person to chat with. So that's the name I'd throw out on the table.
General Andrews. Okay, I got to reach out to him and send him this clip. I got to clip it. Cool.
I can get you connected with him. I mean, I know him. Like, I can.
That works too. Even better.
I can introduce you.
Cool. Even
if you look into him, go check him out.
Yeah.
See if he's somebody you'd want to talk to, and if he's somebody you'd want to talk to, let me know, and I'll introduce you.
For sure. Appreciate it. Other than that, yeah. Did you? Finding Ryan. Yes, I think he was kind of said it before. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Dr. Mick Live. Show some support. But no, I really appreciate you coming through and talking with me for how long we go for? Almost 2.5 hours. Yeah, two hours.
Yeah, we've been chatting for a while here. Time flies. I've enjoyed it. It's been good. I hope everybody in chat's been enjoying it as well.
Yes, everyone in chat, thank you very much for tuning in, sticking with us through the entire process. I hope to see you all soon. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you all on the next one. I believe I have another live stream next Wednesday with a model from Wilhelmina Models to talk a little bit more about his physical health and mental health, and kind of the same thing today we talked about today. But other than that, I will be signing off and hope to see you on the next one. Take care.